Hello and welcome to this episode of the Joyful Money Podcast. I am super excited, like I always am, but today, particularly because today's topic is so close to my heart, and this is what I help people with every day in my business. I am going to teach you how to start and grow a profitable online business as a mentor or a coach in just 90 days. I am super excited about this one. So if you've been thinking, I want to start a coaching business or I want to start a mentorship business online, but you have no idea where to start or where to begin, this video is for you. This episode is for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly what you need to consider before launching your business, the foundations of your business, everything you need to have in place, and the steps you need to take to start signing premium clients, even if you're starting from zero. Now, first of all, I have to say this in 2025, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to start your online business. The trajectory of the world right now, if you don't have a business that you own, you are jeopardizing your financial future. So it's a very, very smart idea to have something you build by yourself that nobody else has control over. Now, so many scams are online. People promise you overnight success. And when you look at the business model, they are not very upfront. And when you commit your dollars, then you find out you've been scammed. So hopefully you've not been scammed. And my goal for this is to show you exactly what you need to become hugely profitable online. Because I believe every single person has an experience, a life experience. Every single person has a talent. Every single person has a gift that you can monetize online and be hugely paid for. So it is possible. I am living proof of that. I have monetized my life experience, my skills, my expertise to create two hugely successful businesses. One is my AI business, leveraging my experience in tech. I was in tech for over 20 years. I love tech. That's one of my passions. I also love teaching women how to make money, and that's my joyful money business. So I have two businesses. So I can tell you what works, okay? So that you don't fall victim of all of those scams. Now, you may be asking, where do I start, right? Because everyone is like, oh my gosh, online businesses can be so scary, but I'm here to tell you that it is possible to build a profitable business online. But here's the truth. Starting an online mentorship business or coaching business isn't about just throwing up a website and hoping for the best. Some people think when they have a website, then people are going to start queuing up to work with them. It doesn't work that way. It's about clarity. It's about your capacity to create wealth, and it's about cash flow. How quickly you can start getting cash into your business. And we're going to cover all of these three things. First of all, I want you to understand why this is the best time to start your coaching or mentorship business. Because based on data research by Robin White, the coaching industry generated approximately $6.2 billion in revenue in 2024. That's billion with a B. And the projection is that in 2025, it will be $7.3 billion. And the forecast for 2030 is $11.7 billion. So, guys, the coaching industry is on an upward trajectory. So, this is the best time to get in if you want to start a coaching or mentorship business. Now, the first thing I want you to consider before you launch your online business is your mindset and clarity. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of building a business, let's talk about mindset, because this is where most people get stuck even before they start. The first shift you have to make as a business owner, in fact, I want to call you a company owner. You are going to be building a company, because many times when people hear business, they are not as committed as their 9 to 5 job, right? So let's say you work for AT&T, or you work for Apple, or you work for Amazon. You see those businesses as companies, but somehow when people try to set up their own businesses, they don't have that same mindset of being a company CEO. So the first mindset shift I want you to have is that you are not trying this out. You are a business owner. That means you are making decisions from the identity of someone who is here to create results, not that you are just dabbling into business. It's a completely different result that you get if your mindset is, I'm just going to give this a go. Like, that's the one of the top phrases I hate to hear. I'm just going to give this a go. What does that mean? You have to be just all in. If you are coming in to dabble into this business or company you're trying to create, your results will not match the results of someone who wants to build a hugely successful business, who wants to build a hugely successful company. So the first mindset shift I want you to have is, this is going to work. End of. You get to decide. Many people ask me all of the time, how do I build a successful business? And here is the thing I want you to know. You get to decide at the beginning. At the beginning, you decide this business is going to be successful no matter what. In fact, I have been studying so many successful people, and Henry Ford, for example, when he was trying to build the V8 engine, he told his engineers to go build the V8 engine. They all came back and said, it's impossible. Like that, achieving that is impossible. That's what the engineer said. Do you know what Henry Ford said? Go make it work. Like, he decided it was going to work. The Wright brothers, who invented the airplane, they decided, they had the imagination to say humans can fly. And they decided it was possible even before it became a reality. So if you truly want to create a successful business, if you want to change the financial trajectory of your family, for many women, especially in my space, we are the change makers. We are charting a course for our families different from the poverty we come from, right? So you have to have that mindset to say, this business, my company, is going to be successful. End of. When you come into your business with that mindset, guess what? You create a successful business. But the people who dabble, the people who tell me, I'm just going to give this a go, they never create success. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is to have absolute clarity on the transformation you deliver. My friend, you need to hear me on this, and rewind this if you need to hear this over and over again. You're not selling your time. You are not selling your time. You are selling transformation. So please stop telling people you're going to give them 2 hours of coaching per week, or it's going to be X amount of your time. I don't swear on this podcast, but nobody gives a fuck about your time. What people care about is the transformation. That's all they care about. What's in it for them? Okay? That's what people are always asking. What's in it for them? So you are selling a transformation. So decide and pick one transformation. You decide on one problem you're going to solve. Pick that problem and then create a solution for that problem. You are not selling time. You are selling transformation. And please communicate that in your marketing, the transformation you provide. So, and I say this so many times, this is big, because some people might say, oh, I just help women with fitness, but that's too vague. You have to be very specific on what you do. So an example of a specific offer would be, I help new moms regain strength, rebuild their health and energy in 90 days. It's powerful. So you get very specific on the kind of transformation you offer. And then decide. I always use decide because many women, especially in business, struggle with making decision. How many days does it take you to decide on what your offer is? You need to be very prompt at decision making. So I want you to decide that your work is going to be worth charging premium prices for. If you offer deep, life changing transformation, people are going to pay. And please, your transformation should be worth more than $50 an hour. And here's the thing, the market will always pay. Okay. So you need to decide how much you want to make. So, for example, if you say, I want to make $10,000 every month in my business, decide on the number and then go create a service that people will pay $10,000 for. Okay, that's a different mindset shift from just saying, oh, I charge $50 an hour for confidence coaching. Okay, if you truly, truly want to make a lot of money in your business, decide how much you want to make per month and then price your offer. So let's say when starting, you say, I want my offer to be $5,000, a deep transformational offer. What offer can you create right now that people will be so happy to pay you $5,000 for? So let's say you do $5,000 for 6 months. What transformational offer can you create that when somebody sees it and they're in that problem, remember you're solving the problem. When someone is in pain, for example, and they see your offer and your offer can help them go from pain to pleasure, trust me, they're going to pay. Okay. So define the pain you're solving and then create an offer to solve that pain and go find your people. Okay. So I want to give you a number of steps. So before we go into how to market your business, how to sign clients, there are some practical decisions you have to make. These are the 7 things you need to consider before you launch your program or your business. The first thing you need to consider is to decide whether your business will be a side project or your main gig. Okay, ask yourself, is this side project going to help me replace my income, my primary income, or am I willing to do this on the side? Okay, if you're doing this on the side, you have more runway, right? You have more time, or you are able to dedicate X amount of hours to grow your business. So define what your goal is. Is your goal for your business to replace your 9 to 5 job, or do you want to run this as a side? And let me just tell you, if this is the first time you're meeting me, my name is Joy Rowland. I'm a profitability coach. I personally hate the phrase side hustle. I hate the word hustle. Why would you call your business a side hustle? Do you know what hustle means? Go into the dictionary and find the word hustle. Hustle means stress. When you're hustling, you are almost white knuckling it. If you call your business a side hustle, guess what? You're going to keep hustling for the rest of your life. Okay. So I know this is not an episode about choosing your words, but I want you to know that the words you use matters. Okay. It's not a side hustle. Don't call it hustle. It's a project, it's your business, it's your company that you're building. And once you change your vocabulary, the way you show up becomes different. Okay. So in my community, the women in my community would never use the phrase side hustle because we don't hustle. We attract money. Okay. No hustling allowed here. So I want you to define in your business before you start. I want you to map out the next 12 months. What would the next 12 months look like in your company, in your business? What is your capacity and what is your time horizon? Like, you need to decide. I see so many people just dabbling into business and saying, oh, I'm just going to see how it goes. Well, if you do not set a vision for your business, you're just going to go wherever the wind goes. Okay. But that's not how we want to run our businesses. We want to be so intentional as amazing, smart business women. That's who we are. And you need to start acting that way by mapping out your vision. Like, I personally have my vision in my notepad for the entire year. You can see what my daughter did. But have a journal that where you can map out in detail. I'm not sure if you can see very well. Can you see how detailed mine is? I map out in detail the next 12 months. How do I want my business to look? Okay, that's what I want you to do. Because when you set a vision and a goal, you are more likely to achieve your vision and your goal. Okay, now next, so that's number one. Number two, I want you to assess your financial runway. Your financial runway is the amount of time you can sustain yourself financially before your business is profitable. So ask yourself, how long could I sustain myself if I started my company tomorrow? What can I do to extend that runway? So this is where I want you to be very frank with yourself. How much do you have in savings? How much do you have as income coming in? And how long do you have to invest in your business before your big business becomes profitable? Like all businesses, there is a runway. Maybe for you, that will be 3 months. Maybe for most people, that's 6 months, right? So you can plan for 6 months and have your business become profitable so that you can draw in an income. Now, some people make the mistake to quit their 9 to 5 before establishing their company or their business. That's not wise because that's going to put you under so much financial strain. Okay. So before you launch your business, I want you to look at your savings, look at your income, and say, this is how many months I can run my business before I run out of money. That's very, very important for you to know. Okay. Next step is to calculate your starting cost. Now, because this is an online business, many people think it's just an online business. There is no startup cost. There is a startup cost to your business. So I want you to plan for those startup costs before you launch your business. So costs will include software. You need software to run your business online, branding, setup, business training. So many people will need to invest in learning how to sell. Selling is the most valuable skill you'll need in your business. So plan ahead for those costs. There will also be some subscriptions, software subscriptions you need to plan for. So yes, there are startup costs, and those costs can add up very quickly. Number four, I want you to do your market research. So many people skip this part, but this is the part that will set you up for success. It will fast track you from frustration to success. Know exactly who you want to serve and what they want to buy. So, define your audience. What's the demographic? What are they struggling with? What do they value? What are their desires? You have to know your target audience deeply. In fact, in my academy, Business Growth Academy, I help my clients to name their avatar. So it's called ICA, Ideal Client Avatar. This is a full description of the kind of people you're trying to work with. So spend some time, do some research, and know very deeply the kind of people you want to work with. Because when you know them very deeply, then you can attract them. Now, most people make the mistake to say, oh, I can help everybody. Well, technically, you can help everybody, but if your messaging and your marketing is not dialed in, you're going to be talking to nobody. And then when you talk to nobody, you make $0 in your business. That's why fine tuning your niche, fine tuning your offer, and knowing exactly who you offer this to is absolutely critical. Step number 5 is to clarify your product. So many people want to offer every single thing, but the fastest way to 10K months, and I've seen this having worked with hundreds of women now in my program, the fastest way to get results is to clarify your service. Just choose one transformation, and make that transformation so deep and so powerful that people are willing to pay you 5K, 10K, 15K. In fact, I have someone I've helped to build a 25K offer. So spend time, just choose one offer. Don't try to serve everybody. Choose one offer, get good at that offer, get good at the transformation you offer, Help people get that transformation and start collecting testimonials. That's the fastest way to make multiple six figures and even seven figures in your business. In fact, you can get to multiple six figures with just one transformational offer. So don't be tempted to record a course or an ebook to sell and a $99 course, or all of those things will just make you too busy doing work that wouldn't bring you money. The first thing you need to do as an online mentor and as an online coach is to define one transformational offer and help people get that transformation. So that's step number 5. Step number 6 is to set up simple functional systems. So you don't need to have all your funnels defined yet, but you need to define the key activities in your business and clearly define which of these activities are high impact, income producing activities, and which of these activities are low impact. So when you start your business, when you start your company, you're going to be doing everything. You're going to be doing the marketing, the branding, the sales, the delivery, fulfillment, all of the things you will be handling, customer service, operations, right? When you clearly define all of the activities in your business as a CEO of your business, which is what you are, you can see very clearly which of these activities lead to sales. Okay, those activities that lead to sales are what I call high impact income producing activities. Those are the activities you will be doing for some time, right? But those activities you don't truly like, those activities that don't have a direct impact on the bottom line, those are the activities that you will delegate first, right? As your business grows, as you sign more clients, those activities that are very low impact, those are the activities you delegate very fast to a virtual assistant. So having functioning systems in place is so critical from day one, right? So that when you start to bring in people to help in your business, you know exactly what you're delegating to them. Finally, I want you to plan to pay yourself. Okay. You, as the CEO of your business, you are the most valuable asset of your business. If you are, which you are, you need to treat yourself like that. So, what that means is decide how much you want to pay yourself every single month after factoring taxes and reinvestment in your business, because you will reinvest in your business, right? If you want to grow your business to multiple six figures and even seven figures, your part of your revenue will have to go back into your business. So plan for those and then pay yourself every single month. Okay, so let's recap what we've talked about. The 7 things. First, you need to decide if this is going to be a side project or your main gig to replace your 9 to 5 job. Second, you need to identify your financial runway. How long do you have before your business starts to pay you? Number 3, you need to calculate your startup costs because online businesses have costs too. Number 4, you need to do your market research to know who you're serving, what you're serving people, and also your price point. Number 5, you need to clarify your main offer, your main product. And number 6, to set up simple functional systems. And number 7 is to pay yourself first. Okay, now, what do you need to start signing premium clients? Now, we've done all the work, you've done all the readiness work, and now you're ready to actually start bringing high ticket clients. What do you need? First thing you need is a high value offer. So I've touched on this earlier. Your offer should be so clearly defined that the people you are marketing to, they know the outcome and the step-by-step process to help them get there. Price your offer for transformation. Do not price your offer for time. Please stop charging $50 per session or $50 per hour. Okay, I need to help you understand why. Okay, as a mentor, as a coach, you are not doing your client any good by charging per hour. How? When you coach somebody, Usually, the first couple of weeks, you'll be dealing with their pain points, right? You'll be dealing with what they're suffering with. And in those first couple of sessions, it's going to be painful, right? So let's say you help someone with confidence, you help them grow their confidence. The first couple of sessions, you're going to uncover why they do not feel confident, why they feel imposter syndrome, right? So those first couple of sessions, when you uncover the imposter syndrome, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful to the client. If you only charge per session, after those two couple of sessions, your clients will say, "Oh my gosh, I don't think this is working," and then they're going to quit. But you as a mentor, you as a coach, you know that's the process to get to the pleasure, to get to the promised land, that they have to go through that pain first of all. If you were charging per transformation, which is they pay you $5,000 for work for 6 months. Now, because they already committed to the process, then they will show up to do the work, the subsequent work. After all of that pain, then they get to pleasure, right? They don't get to quit in between. So if you were charging them per hour, then because the first couple of sessions will be so uncomfortable, they're going to say, I don't want to do this anymore. And then they're going to tell everybody, oh, her coaching doesn't work. And then they're going to give you bad reviews. Okay. So you are doing them a disservice by charging them per hour. Okay. So price your high value offer for the transformation, not your time. Number two is to have an authority and visibility plan. Okay. Now, most people start to post on social media and they think, oh my gosh, people are going to start queuing up to work with me. That's not how it works. Okay. So when you first start out, nobody knows you in the industry. You are nobody. It takes time to build credibility. But smart business women know instead of having to wait 2 years or 5 years to build your credibility, you can use somebody else's credibility. You can leverage somebody else's credibility. And that's why I teach inside of my Business Growth Academy. I teach you how to sell to a ready audience using podcast guesting. So the podcast host has spent the time and energy to build their audience. You go as a guest and you leverage that podcast host authority and credibility. And because you're interviewed as a guest on that podcast, there is a transfer of trust. So in just less than an hour on the podcast being interviewed, people, thousands of people will feel like they know you. They feel like they trust you and they are so ready to start working with you. So that's why I teach, especially when you're starting your business, nobody knows you, leverage the credibility of other people. The other thing I want you to start doing is to share your social proof, right? So you need to show people that you can get people results. Okay. So use social proof and share your client wins. Now, if you're starting out, you don't have client wins yet, share your personal story because I hope the mentorship business or the coaching business you're starting is because you have gotten results yourself. So you can use your personal story as proof that your process works. The next one is lead generation. I want you to have a way to capture people's email addresses from wherever you meet people. And the fastest way to do this is to have a lead magnet or a free gift that you can give somebody in exchange for their email. And I want you to start practicing how to nurture people in your email list to become clients. And how you do that is you deliver your lead magnet and you have a 7-day sequence at the back end of your lead magnet that sells them into your offer. So if you downloaded any of my lead magnets, you're going to see exactly how, and it's all automated, right? You use automation to do all of these. So if you downloaded my lead magnet, I have about 3 or 4 lead magnets, any of them you download, you're going to see how the email sequence in the backend works. And I want you to start practicing emailing your list 3 times every single week. Learn how to do this. This is how you build relationships with the people on your email list. This is how you build connection. You're not just selling to them, you are building connection, you are giving them value, and then inviting them to work with you. The other thing you need to define is your sales process. How will people go through your sales process? In the Business Growth Academy, I call this the customer journey. You have to map out the customer journey through your sales process. How do you pre-qualify leads? How do you use a consult call or a strategy call or a discovery call to identify someone's pain points and be able to demonstrate that your offer is what will take them to the promised land? I call it the promised land, or pleasure, right? From pain to pleasure. So have that and have a very simple onboarding process. So when someone joins your mentorship program or your coaching program, what's the onboarding process like? Finally, I want you to have a basic tech setup. Okay, so you might not need all of the tech setup I have, but as a base, you need a booking link, right? For people to book sales calls with you. You need email automation platform. So what I just described, to deliver your lead magnets and then nurture them on the back end of that. So that's email automation. You also need a video call software. You can use Google Meet or Zoom. You need landing pages for your lead magnet. You need landing pages for your workshops. In the Business Growth Academy, I teach you how to run monthly workshops so that you close people one to many instead of just relying on the one-to-one strategy calls. Finally, you need a way to collect payment. So have a suite of software. So many people have different tools, but the way I teach mine, I just use one tool for all of these things so that you have all of your business being run on just one software. So as you move from one-on-one mentorship to group, you're going to need a private platform where you host your membership. So which is why I recommend for my clients to use that platform. In fact, I build all the tech for my clients inside of the Business Growth Academy. I give you my exact system. So all of my landing pages, all of my funnels, all of the tech already done for you. All you have to do is to edit the emails, edit the landing pages, edit the website, right? So I gave you everything. All you have to do is to customize it to your offer, and it's all ready for you to go. The reason is, for most people, when they start businesses, one of the things that trips them up is the tech, right? So they have all of these amazing ideas, but when it comes to implementation, it takes them years, 1 year, 2 years, they're still procrastinating. In my Business Growth Academy, I take all of that headache out so you don't keep stressing and feeling frustrated about your tech setup, which is amazing. So, common mistakes to avoid. One, do not wait until everything is perfect. This is one thing that holds so many people back. You want to wait until everything is perfect. No, I didn't wait until everything is perfect. In fact, when I started this podcast, I was recording on my phone. I didn't have a professional microphone like I have now. So do not wait until everything is perfect. The other mistakes people make is they offer too many services at once. I encourage you, just pick one service and become very good at that service. The third mistake I see so many people make is undercharging. People undercharge for their services, but what you do not know is that when you undercharge, you attract a different kind of client. So, for example, if you were offering $50 an hour for mentorship or coaching, the kind of people you attract will be different from someone who pays you $5,000 for 6 months of coaching. The person who is able to invest $5,000 in their personal and professional growth, they are more committed to the process. So if you are undercharging, you're not doing yourself any favors. You are attracting the wrong people. And when you attract the wrong people, they don't put in the work, they don't get the results, they don't give you amazing testimonials. In fact, they write bad reviews for you on Google, and you don't want that. So you need to price your offer to attract premium clients. The last mistake I see so many people make is they avoid sales calls. In fact, so many women feel like sales is pushy. Uh, I want to tell you, amazing CEO, entrepreneur, company owner that you are. I am addressing you as the person I know you can be. As the CEO of your business, you have to enjoy selling. You have to love selling because selling is the fastest way to make the big impact you want to make. Many women start their businesses because they want to make an impact in the world, right? We are so heart centered. We are so value driven. That's why many of us started our businesses. But what I want you to know is that the fastest way to make an impact is to sell. Okay, so get very comfortable selling. The more you sell, the more impact you make. In fact, when I first started, I was offering my coaching for free coaching. The people that I was giving coaching for free, they never showed up for the coaching. They wouldn't show up for the coaching calls because they paid $0. Okay. So when I started charging for my services, people were showing up for every coaching call. They were taking the action. In fact, after the call, I'll get an email telling me they've started taking the action. I'm like, what's going on? And then I realized that when people pay, they pay attention. When someone pays you $10,000 for 6 months of coaching, they're going to show up. Okay. So I want you to realize that selling is the way you make an impact. When you learn how to sell, you're going to have more impact in the world. You're going to have more mentorship clients, more coaching clients. And that's the fastest way to make the impact I know in your heart you want to make in the world. So please, my friend, I want you to see selling as the best thing ever. When I first started, I was so afraid of selling. I felt like I was being salesy. But now I enjoy selling because I know that when someone is able to invest in themselves to join my program, they're going to get the results so many times over, more than the financial investment. They're going to get a lot more. So I know that now, and I know that it is in their best interest to join my program. So it comes from a place of conviction. I have that conviction in my heart, and that's where I want you to get to. I want you to be so convicted about the value of your offer that when you're on a discovery call or a sales call, you can see what's possible for that person. And you come from that place of service. It doesn't feel like sales. In fact, it feels like a natural progression. It doesn't feel like sales to me anymore. Okay. Now, I want to close because I know I can talk on this topic for so long and you can feel my passion for this topic. We've gone through a lot today. For many of you, you will need to listen to this episode maybe 2 or 3 times over to maybe take notes. Maybe right now you're driving, you need to take notes. And ultimately, I want you to take action. What's your action plan for the next 90 days to get you to the future you want? So let's say you want to make 10K every single month in the next 6 months. So let's say that's your goal. In the next 6 months, you want to quit your 9 to 5 job. You want to be able to set this up as a legacy business. So I want to ask you, what's your 12-month goal? Where do you want to get to? Map that out. We'll listen to this podcast and follow the steps and map it out. And I want to tell you that I can fast track your success. I can make it faster inside of my Business Growth Academy. If you're like, oh, I've been thinking of starting a business for so long and I haven't made any traction, or you started a business and you are not signing clients. So many people are struggling to sign one client every month. If you're struggling to sign clients, you need to be in the Business Growth Academy. That's where I'll help you to start selling. In fact, my my goal is to help you sign 5 premium clients. If you are tired of trial and error, you want a system that works, a plan that is doable, you want to be able to someone to tell you exactly what to do to get the results, then you need to be in my Business Growth Academy. All you have to do is send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Just send me a DM and I'll send you the details. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I truly appreciate your time, and I congratulate you for wanting to invest in yourself, because time is investment is absolutely critical. You invest in your time to listen to these podcasts. You invest in your time to watch the videos on YouTube. And I hope that you can see the value of all of these free content I put out. And ultimately, I want you to start getting results. In fact, I get so many DMs from people telling me that my free stuff is helping them sign clients. And that's fine. But for some of you, you need that help. You need someone to keep you accountable. That's where many people fail, the accountability. Because guess what? Life will always get in the way. You set good intentions and you're like, oh, next year, I want to be making $20,000 in my business. You are so pumped. You attend an event or you go to a conference and you're so motivated. And then you get home and then life gets in the way. You have your 9 to 5 job. You have to take care of the kids. You have to be an amazing wife for your husband. You have to be there for your parents. You have to be there for your friends. All of these life things, life happens, right? And then 1 month becomes 6 months. 6 months becomes 1 year. And you are not making progress with the vision God has put in your heart to make an impact in your mentorship or coaching business. Life will always get in the way. And that's the value of someone to keep you accountable. That's what we do in the Business Growth Academy. So send me a DM and I'll send you the details on how you can join us. Until next time, may God be with you. May God help you grow. May God help you find peace, joy, fulfillment, sound health, and wealth. I'll see you next time. Hey, very quickly before you go, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending time with me today. I hope today's episode gave you something powerful to add to your business toolbox, something you can come back to anytime you need a little extra motivation in your business. If you loved today's episode, the best way you can support me and the show is to leave me a review and also to share this with an incredible businesswoman like yourself. And if you're ready to create consistent 10K months with ease and alignment, I invite you to apply to join my 6 months mastermind. Visit johnnyroland.com to book your free complimentary discovery call. I cannot wait to help you step into your next level. Until next time, stay aligned, stay confident, and keep creating joyful money. Bye for now.